Now moving on to, I think, probably the best thing about this phone. I think this is probably the best thing about this device right now. And it's the software, but it's kind of like the worst thing about this phone, right? Or this iPad right now too. And it's kind of sad because right now, this device, as far as we know, is probably not going to be getting iOS 15. Even though it came out a year or two after the iPhone 6s came out, it shares the same chipset. And it's looking like the iPhone 6s is not going to be getting iOS 15. So that might mean that the iPad 5th generation may not be getting iOS 15 either. And that's kind of a sad thing, but it's also kind of expected. I've been kind of saying that for a minute now. And because this thing, like I said, has that A9 chip inside of it, it's the same thing. It's not even A9X or anything. It's literally the same thing as the iPhone 6s. And I really don't think this thing's going to be getting the next generation of software. So what does that mean? That means if you pick up this iPad right now, you're going to be fine. It's probably going to get security updates here and there. But the other thing to keep in mind is that iOS 15 isn't really looking to be a crazy big upgrade in some areas. I think things, like split screen multitasking and all those things are already on the iPad 5th generation. So you're really not going to be missing out on too much in that standpoint. So I think when it comes down to that, this iPad, even though it's getting outdated in software, I think you can probably give it another 1 or 2 year run, and I think you'll still be fine, probably even more than that if you really need to. So I think you'll be fine in that standpoint. But like I said, going up to something like the iPad Air 3, you're going to be getting a much longer lifespan on that device than on this one. So keep that in mind. I think the best thing, or one of the better things about this iPad, is the battery life, and this thing has an 8,827 milliamp hour battery inside of it, and that is a massive size battery to have on this type of device. I mean, you're going to be lasting for an insanely long amount of time. And like I said before, if you're kind of a minor task person, if you're just doing a bunch of small things, or if you're taking it up a notch and doing a bunch of different things too, I think you're going to be getting a solid type of device from this thing. In terms of a battery life, you're going to be lasting for an insanely long amount of time in terms of battery life. So I think the battery life is the best thing about this device right now, but at the same time, I think the software is one of those things that's going to age this iPad sooner than later. So in terms of that pretty much covers up that specific aspect of it. Now,